Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is race week. It is the week of Manchester Marathon. It's Wednesday, we've got 4 days to go. And I'm just having a little shakeout run on the treadmill. The weather's a bit hideous outside. It's chucking it down, it's windy. And I really don't want the cold with 4 days to go, so I'm staying indoors. Doing half an hour or so on the treadmill just to keep ticking over. So yeah, Wednesday, Monday was the rest day. Yesterday was a crazy day. The whole week's been crazy so far, to be honest. My van broke down, my wife's car broke down. Youngest had to go to football. Coach the first grass track session, just everything at once. All cars and vans are back where they should be now, but it's taken a bit of juggling. So last night I had to coach the club session, and then after that do my own 6 mile run over to the garage to pick my son's car up. So 2 mile warm up, 3 miles marathon pace, 1 mile cool down. And that reminds me, hang on a sec. So, I did the 6 mile run last night in these, in the race shoes. I put 6 miles into the Nike Vaporfly. Now, the right shoe felt amazing, felt brilliant. And to be honest, the left shoe wasn't much worse, but it was rubbing around the back there, rubbing at the back of the heel. And to be honest, if I'd done another quarter of a mile, I'd have had a blister. The back of the heel went quite hot. There's definitely a blister forming, which is a real worry. I felt I had them both equally tight, not overly tight, but the same tightness on both shoes. But for some reason, the right one felt amazing, the left one was blister inducing. So, what do I do? Do I run in those? Or do I run in those? Hoka Carbons? I don't know. I can't decide what's best. I don't know what to do. I know the Hoka Carbons won't give me a blister. I know that guaranteed. Or do I tape up the heel, make sure I've got them equally tight, make sure the Vaporflies are comfy before I set off? Oh, I don't know. I'll probably try again tomorrow. I think I will. Yeah, I've got a little easy run now, and then tomorrow is a 5 mile run with 1 mile of marathon pace. So, I don't know. Then Friday rest day. Saturday is just an easy park run, somewhere Manchester way. Warrington, I think we're doing. But yeah, generally it's just tick over, keep the legs moving, try and get lots of sleep, try and eat well, nothing too strange, nothing too out of the ordinary, just a few extra carbs here and there. But just try and avoid catching a cold, avoid catching COVID, avoid anything crazy, and just get through to Sunday. Okay everybody, Friday night, 7:15, and I'm setting off up to Manchester. I've got about a 3 or 4 hour drive. I've packed everything I could possibly need and more. I've had a good week. I've done 2 or 3 runs outdoors, about 5 or 6 miles, one with 3 miles of marathon pace, one on Thursday with 1 mile of marathon pace. I did a half-hour session on the treadmill. Today, Friday's been a rest day, and then tomorrow I'm going to be doing Warrington Park Run, because I've not done a W Park Run yet, so that'll put me on to 15 letters of the alphabet completed for Park Run Alphabet. Anyway, so I still don't know what shoes I'm wearing tomorrow. I'm still torn between Hoka Carbon X2s and the Nike Alphafly, whatever they are, Next Percent. Still can't decide. One of them gave me a slight blister feeling. I've already mentioned that. Not sure what to do yet. I'll have a little walk around in them tomorrow afternoon, I think. I've brought my old Hoka Mach 4s for the park run, and I'm good to go. I've done my kit lay, I've got everything ready. Excuse me, I've made sure I've got everything. I've got my new Garmin heart rate strap, I've got my Garmin Fenix 7X, I've got my Soar socks, I've got my Soar arm sleeves, arm warmers, I've got my gloves, I've got my gels, I've got my beetroot shot, I've got my race number, I've got safety pins. Does anyone else do this? Do you actually lay everything else out and make sure you've got everything? I've got an old jumper and an old pair of shorts to wear over the top before the start that I can take off when we get going, because the weather's looking pretty much perfect, although cold to start off with. So it's looking to be about, I think, 3, 4, 5, 6 degrees, something like that. Very little wind, no rain. When I did my 3:15 lockdown marathon, the weather was very, very similar, so it's perfect for me, and I can't wait. So I've got a Premier Inn booked for tonight, for Friday night and for Saturday night. Saturday, as I said, I've got park run first thing, and then I'm going to be just chilling in the Premier Inn, chilling in my room for Saturday afternoon. I'll do the park run report when that gets mailed through from the guys here who are doing Harleston Park Run. I'll upload the report and any photos that I get sent Saturday afternoon, but other than that I am good to go. I've got no injuries, no niggles, no worries other than the shoe situation. Training has been really good. If you've seen the previous videos week by week, I've got no complaints, I've got no excuses to be honest. I have got no excuses. I've even had a marathon haircut. I am buzzing like the hairdresser was. I am good to go. Can't wait. Pacing plan, I was looking at a few situations today. You know, if I did 7:30 I'd get this time. 7:22 is the marathon pace I've been training towards, 7:22 miling. When I did Manchester 6 months ago, I hit 16 miles and kind of detonated, and I wasn't comfortable with my marathon pace before that. I am a bit more comfortable with it, but I think I'm going to err on the side of caution and go out at probably 7:30 and just try and, whether I get through to halfway at 7:30s, or it depends how it feels. I don't want to detonate at 16 miles, so I'd rather pick up some time in the latter stages than I would be hanging on for 10 miles. When I did my lockdown 3:15, I did 7:22 for 20 miles and then lost 20 seconds a mile in the last 10k, which really was not too disastrous at all. So I finished off with an average of 7:29 overall, and I would take that. I would absolutely take that. So it's whether I set off at 7:29 and just see how it goes. If I tickle towards 7:22s by 16 miles, feeling good, then who knows. But if I got around 7:30 the whole way, 7:29, 7:28 the whole way, I'd be made up. So let's just see how it goes. Park run tomorrow morning. But anyway, looking forward to seeing some of you on the start line. It's great to see some connections through Instagram and some friends racing on the day, and I can't wait to, and YouTube as well, and I can't wait to bump into some of you on the start line. Let's see you there, if not before. Have a good Saturday. Okay, so it's 6:15 in the morning, race morning. Just getting ready, nervous as anything. Just trying to work out what I've got. Everything was laid out, but obviously can't find anything when I wake up in the morning. But I'm just about to go and get some breakfast. I've got a cup of tea on the go here somewhere. Gels already, race number already, shoes. I've decided what I'm wearing. I've got to leave here about 6:45 to start the journey across, meet some friends and head on over to the race start. So yeah, I'm going to head off over. Excited but nervous. It's kind of a terrifying prospect going into a target race like this. It can go wrong, it can go really well. So I'm going to crack on, get breakfast done, get on the way, and I'll see you later on today. Okay, all done. Fabulous race. Went really well, to be honest. I guess I could say better than expected, I think. Tried to stick 7:28 to 7:30 as long as I could, really, mile after mile. Got as far as mile 20, probably 21, 22 before the pace started falling away. And then the last 5k was just kind of sheer hell. I tried to stick to 8-minute miling at the end there. I think I had a couple of 8:05, something like that. But all done. 3:19:30, I think. I'll take that all day long. Target was 3:15 to 3:20. So I will 100% take that all day long. Right, I'm going to go and get a t-shirt, have a stretch, get something to eat, and I'll catch up in a bit. Okay, so I've been back to a friend of mine's hotel room and had a quick shower, freshened up. I finished running about 2.5 hours ago, I think. A little bit of time to digest the race and start thinking about how it went, what I could have done better, what I did do well. Lots of positives to be taken from it. Right, so starting from the beginning. So I stayed overnight in the Premier Inn and had all the transport all arranged with friends who are racing how we're going to get there in the morning. So transport was all sorted.
70 mile per hour speed limit cap.
Had to be up at 6 a.m. to have breakfast, to leave at 6:45 to get to the other hotel, meet up with friends, leave there at 7 a.m. So it was a 6 a.m. start in the Premier Inn, where obviously breakfast isn't started at 6 a.m. So I had my regular breakfast of porridge with protein powder and some strawberries, which I cooked in the van on the camping stove. Seemed a bit funny parked outside a Premier Inn cooking my breakfast on a camping stove, but all good. Had the kettle on for a cup of tea, had the camping stove going at 6:15, had some porridge, had a cup of tea. Also made a bagel with peanut butter and jam, which is something else I often have to have as well, because I was obviously up at 6 a.m. but not actually racing till 9:30, so I didn't want to rush up my breakfast too soon. Had it about 6:30, and then took the bagel with me and had that about 7:30. So gel nutrition wise, the plan was gels every 4 miles and half a gel before the start. Oh, shoes. I must mention shoes. Sorry. I get this sort of difficult to breathe type thing, I think, because I'm breathing sort of heart rate of 170 to average or whatever it was. I feel it in my lungs after a run, so I'm a little bit croaky. Anyway, shoes. I decided to go for the Hoka Carbon X2s in the end. I really wanted to try the Vaporfly, but I just couldn't risk it with the near miss I had with the blister. So I wore them in a test run 3 or 4 days ago and nearly got a blister on my heel. So they've got this funny little foam pad around the back of the shoe and around the back of the heel, and it was rubbing a little bit on a test run. Heel got hot. I knew I was probably less than a mile away from a blister when I stopped, so had lots of worries about that. In the end I decided to go for what is safe and what I know, which is the Hoka Carbon X2s, and they were fantastic. Feet are fine, no issues with my feet, no issues with my feet at all, so feet are good. Anyway, that's the shoes. So we got to the start, the holding pens. They have holding pens for each of the waves. So a friend of mine was running in the sub 3 wave, so we had to get to the starting pen quite early for him. We got there about 8 o'clock.
Incidents on M6.
We got there about 8 o'clock. Although I had to go into my holding pen at 8:30, so it wasn't crazy early. Holding pen at 8:30, ready to start running at 9:25. So from 8:30 onwards, we sort of moved forward. Weather was perfect, 3 or 4 degrees, very cold. I took a spare jumper and some old big baggy shorts, which I wore over my race kit. In the holding pen, I also had a Torque energy bar and a bottle of water, so I was well prepared. I'd ticked all the boxes. Very pleased with myself about that, but I knew I'd be in the holding pen for a while, so I took warm clothes, drink and something to nibble on. When I set off, the plan was, I decided, you know what plans are like, they change every flipping half an hour, don't they? But my plan was to set off at 7:30, 7:30 miling, and just hold that a little bit quicker, somewhere between 7:25 and 7:30, depending on heart rate, depending on the terrain, you know, not the terrain, the elevation, things like that. So for the first half of the run, first 13 miles, I was sort of 7:25 to 7:30. I eased it off to 7:30ish up the hills, kept the heart rate below 175, which seems to be my sort of trigger heart rate for things getting quite tough. So I kept it around about 169, 170, 171, eased off up the hills, then caught the time up back down the hills to keep it around about there. So it was 7:25, 7:30 through to 13 miles, carried on with that through to 20 miles, did my gels routinely every 4 miles. Water stops, I made sure I took a decent amount of water on at every water stop. Not like, I didn't swig a whole bottle, they were tiny little fruit shoot bottles, about that sort of size. I didn't drink a whole bottle. I had about a third, I guess, or a half a bottle. Although it was cold, I'm still sweating, and although you don't feel the sweat on you, you are still losing that water, and it's important to keep putting it back in, otherwise, you know, dehydration can play its part later on. So through to 13 miles, no problem. 16 miles was the hill that I was particularly worried about, and I eased off up the hills. It feels like I'm crawling when I ease off from 7:30 to like 7:40 pace. It feels like you're going really slowly, but kept the heart rate down, pushed up the hill. You go sort of around the back of these buildings and then back down the hill the other side. Felt great. It didn't faze me at all like it did when I did this race 6 months ago. So got through the hill, which felt good. 16 miles, carried on picking off the miles through to 20 miles. Still hovering around 7:25, 7:30ish. Still feeling good. At about 20 miles, a friend came alongside and he just gradually picked the pace up a little bit to about 7:20. So I told him to go. I didn't want to be dragged along, even only 10 seconds a mile quicker. I felt good for it, but I knew it would bite me in the bum later on. So I held firm to my 7:28, 7:30s. 21 miles, all good, and then it just started to get a little bit tough about 22 miles, and the pace just started to fall away, which I'll take, honestly, I'll take that any day of the week. 22 miles, good. Just 4 miles to hang on, and I did have to hang on. I really did have to hang on. The 7:30 pace sorry, the 7:30 pace slipped to 8-minute miling. I didn't want it to go any slower than that, so I really had to push. Heart rate was up to about 180 by then, but you know, you're into the last 5k, and mentally it's a good place. You're overtaking so many people. If you're still holding your pace or not losing too much pace, then you're in a very good place really in a marathon. The back end, the sort of 5k at the end, there's a lot of people walking, a lot of people struggling. and mentally it does you it gives you a big boost to know that you're still close to your pace. Yes, it's frustrating, you know, you lost 30 seconds a mile, so I probably lost 2 minutes in the last 4 miles. Actually thinking about that, last time that's a little win, I'll take that, because when I did my unofficial 3:15 PB, I lost 2 minutes in the last 10k. This time it was only the last 4 miles I struggled, so I held out longer before I started to struggle. I think that's the big city marathon feeling that helps out there. But yes, the pace fell away at the end. I think I kept it to about 8-minute miling. A little bit of a push towards the finish line when it's finally in sight. I think I clocked it at 26.4 miles, so probably my Garmin over measured by about 400 meters. Obviously, if the course is spot on lengthwise, well, I say obviously, Manchester Marathon isn't always spot on lengthwise. It's been 400 meters short before, but I like to think course distance is spot on, and I take the racing line. I'm very aware of looking ahead at the corners, not wasting any sort of meters going wide on the corners. I get right on the racing line. I sort of spot the corners well in advance and line up, so I keep the distance to an absolute minimum where possible, but obviously Garmin over measures it a little bit. So 26.4. I think Strava had my marathon time as 3:17. Obviously that doesn't matter, it's the course time that counts, the course chip time that counts, which was 3:19.31 I think. And my target, you know, yes, I want to do 3:15, and yes, I want to do sub 3:15, but I guess that was my A goal, and my B goal was 3:15 to 3:20. So 3:19.31, I'll absolutely take that all day long. I'm thrilled to bits with that. You know, that's an official PB of 6 minutes, which is not to be sniffed at. I'm really happy about that. And also that I could hold on to 7:28 pace for 22 miles, which compared to where I was, you know, 5, 10, 20 years ago is a big improvement. I definitely broke my 20-mile PB on today's run, that's for sure. Really pleased with that, really pleased with that. I was done in at the end. I really had to hang on the last 5k. It's just mind over matter, and just keep moving and just do anything you can to keep the pace down. You know, you have a little push to try and get it under 8, and 10 minutes later your body's saying, nah, not going to happen. So ease off again, and your body's screaming at you to walk. I mean, anyone who's watching this will know exactly what I'm talking about, but your head is absolutely screaming at you to walk, but you just want to tick off those last couple of miles, and it's proper hell, to be fair. But good when you know you're on for a PB anyway. And I didn't look at my watch at all the whole way through, because often I look at my total time and get a bit annoyed about it. So this time all I ever looked at was the mile splits all the way through. I have my Garmin on just showing lap pace, lap time, lap distance, heart rate. That's all I have on my race screen. And all I'm looking at is lap pace for that 1 mile at a time, just trying to keep it down as much as possible. So I had no clue until I pressed stop at the end what my overall time was, and 3:19.31. Happy about that. Good to bump into a few guys who watch some of my videos or know me from Instagram, so nice to chat to you guys. Thank you, good to see you on the course today. Hope you had good runs. Where are we now? What's next? So I'm going to have an easy week, and then in about 4 weeks time I'm pacing a half marathon. I can't remember which one it is, my mind's fuzzed up, but yeah, I'm pacing a 1:40 and a half marathon in about 4 weeks time. So it's a bit of rest and recovery, a fair amount of junk food. I've got a bit of a treat here for the journey home, a bag of cheese and bacon flavour crisps, which taste amazing. But yeah, a week of rest recovery, then we get back into it, working towards this half marathon. I can't think which it is. It's not Hackney half. Watford half. It could well be Watford half. Yeah, I'll put something in the comments once I've remembered which it is. But thanks for watching. One of these days I'm going to take a camera around for the whole race with me. I might even do it at the half that I'm pacing. But hope you've had a good week. If you raced today, hope you had a good race. Hope it went well. Don't forget, get some protein into you. Get some of that liquid that you've sweated out back into you. If you sweat a couple of kilos, you need to put those back in again. Put a couple of litres back in again. So have a good recovery. Take a week off. Let your body recover. And let me know in the comments what races you're doing next. But thanks for watching. I'm a happy boy. 3:19:31 PB. We go again. Next up, half marathon in 4 weeks' time. So good stuff. See you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.